Okay, hey everybody. Thanks for listening today. I'm very excited to have Andrew Rasizer on the phone. Andrew's in Red Bank, New Jersey, and he's a co-owner of B2 Bistro and Bar. And really appreciate you taking the time, Andrew, to speak with us today.
No problem at all.
So just get me started, man. I read on your site that your grandfather had a restaurant, so you kind of grew up around that, and I know you went to Culinary Institute of America. So tell me about just sort of your background in the business and what got you started in it. And I know you were in China, I believe, for a while too. So just fill us in, man. You've had a lot of years in the business, it sounds like.
A decent amount of time, since I was about, 14, but I grew up in it. So my grandfather started fast food chicken and rib business. It's still in my family. It's been going strong for about 52 years or so now. It's located in Woodbridge, New Jersey, about a half hour away from where I actually own our business here. And, I grew up kind of being in the store the entire time. I actually went to grammar school across the street, so I'd leave grammar school and be able to walk over and kind of see my father and what he was doing, and knew the hours and stuff like that were going to be tedious as I got older in life. So I guess at around the age 14 or so, I started to think of the industry more in a professional sense and really wanted to kind of delve into it. Funny enough, I never ended up working for my father or my grandfather. Never actually stepped behind the counter or did any cooking for them other than like a little bit of extra help at some like street fairs or events that they did. But I started my career working as a food runner and then moved my way up to like a server at a retirement community around the corner from where I grew up in Tinton Falls at the age of 14, and slowly progressed to not really doing so well in my first 2 years of high school, and my guidance counselor saying to me, would you ever be interested in doing like a vocational program? And I heard the words culinary arts and kind of jumped at the opportunity. So my last 2 years of high school, I actually had the opportunity to gain college credits, and I went to a Brookdale kind of intro college vocational program for culinary arts, and had an awesome time doing it. Really learned a bunch and moved my way up through the ranks in that, and then actually secured a line cook position with the same company that I was working for. So I was with them for almost 4.5 years or so until I went to college. And then in going to CIA, it was history from there. You get up there and you start doing all the classes and work, and you have to have a really good mindset to it because it's kind of an expedited program. I did what is technically a 4-year program in about 3.25 years. And I externshipped around the corner from the restaurant that I have now. And I've learned a lot as far as the industry is concerned. I had some opportunities to kind of travel around a little bit. I went to China, did some cooking there for 2 weeks with one of our instructors at CIA, and then kind of worked into, running a restaurant for about 9 years in Ocean Township, and was given a good opportunity to start my own place with partners and great investors here. So it's what's kind of led me to, I guess, being on the phone with you now.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, so that's amazing. I have to say, I'm surprised you never worked for your dad or your grandfather. Was that something you wanted to strike out on your own, or?
I guess so. It's funny. I think I have the same mentality as my father does. Always go like bigger and better than the person before you, in a sense. And he didn't go to college or anything crazy for like culinary arts or anything like that. And when he found out that I wanted to go, pushed me to do it, and never really wanted me to step foot into his business because he wanted to see me strive for more. And it was the same thing that his father was kind of expecting from him. But, the business kind of passed down to him, and he took it from a one-page menu, kind of like little small takeout concept, to this extravagant big takeout concept with like 6 delivery drivers and the ability to do big catering operations and stuff like that. So he really showed me that you put your mind to it, you can kind of strive for anything. And I guess that's what I've been doing ever since, and never really had the, I guess, want to step into his business. As I get older, though, I want it more and more. I want him to give me the opportunity to kind of take it off of his hands and show him what I can do with it. But that's all in due time. When the man decides he wants to retire, I'm sure I'll have that conversation with him.
That's really cool, man. But you've been around it for a long time, and around it for most of your life, and you've been in it for a long time. What what is it about the business that really lights your fire?
I like the interaction with the people, to be honest with you. It's a satisfying and immediate gratification kind of job. It's also an immediate, I guess, non-gratifying job as well. Like if you get somebody on the wrong side, or you kind of give them something that they don't enjoy, you immediately hear about it as well. But everything is instant rather than you're waiting for something. I don't have to sit behind a desk all the time. I'm out moving around a lot. I get to speak a lot with not only my chefs and people that are here, but also my guests that walk in the door. You know what? I follow the statement from my mother's side of the family. My grandfather always taught me, if you love what you do, you never work your day in your life. And I love what I do. I love coming into work every day. I love the fact that now I have something that I can say is mine. I'm a partner in this business, and I worked my ass off to get to where I'm at right now. But and I'm going to continue to do so. And it's a matter of just kind of learning every single day. That's the only way that we can do it. Yeah, that pretty much covers it.
I hear you, man. So, how long have you guys been in business at Bistro?
So we're coming up on our 2-year mark, which will be right at the end of June this year.
And how long did you plan it?
The build-out took 9 months to get to where we wanted it to be. The planning process itself, I was asked to step on the team after they had already decided on the location and they had already decided on my partner as the executive chef. He was already hired. So he found me. Our executive chef and my partner in business found me. He actually found me through a mutual friend who was his sous chef in New York City at a couple of restaurants that he ran. And that mutual friend actually was my college roommate at CIA. So he calls me up one day and says, listen, I know you've been looking for a long time. I said, yeah, well, I'm not really just apt to giving my resume out. And he says, well, listen, I wouldn't steer you in the wrong direction. Send it to me. I want to send it to somebody and see what they think. So he sends it to my partner, Ches, at the time, and he goes, I want to set up an interview immediately. I met with the investors, and we talked for a little bit, and I guess everything kind of fell into place from there, and all the rest is history.
So you have a group of investors?
We do. They are rather quiet in regards to everything. They just want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do here to make everything successful. They allow Ches and I to really make it what we want to make it. The concept of the business needs to be, kind of exuded from both myself and him. We want to make it a rustic, homey, down, non-pretentious style of restaurant. We want people to walk in here any day for whether it be a burger or a 7-course tasting meal. They can get either of those 2 options at any point in time, and just have fun with it. Just feel comfortable. Feel like you're sitting in a friend's house around their kitchen table, or you're just hanging out in their kitchen, kind of thing.
Gotcha. And okay, so you 9 months, and then you guys opened 2 years ago. How's it going so far?
It's going great. There's always hiccups. I mean, no matter what with this business, as much as it is gratifying and taxing as well, there's a lot that you have to quickly change and adapt to. I figured that would be expected. There's quick turnover in the beginning of the stages of the restaurant. People come and go. We've got a pretty solid team behind us now, though, and great sous chef and great line cooks, and my front of the house floor staff and bar staff has really come into their own, and we have a family here. We actually just recently a month ago threw them their first holiday party after that kind of year and a half mark, and they were ecstatic to have it. And it was great. So things are going really well, though.
What's a typical day look like for you? When do you get started, and how long are your days?
10 o'clock in the morning usually. Both myself or my assistant manager will step in the door, and then it's a lot of paperwork and getting things ironed out where they need to be, utilizing scheduling and getting up to speed on who's coming in for the day, and then just writing up a punch list. It's going down what needs to get done. I mean, sitting in front of me right now in my office where I'm speaking to you from is basic stuff that I know that I need to get done. Payroll was one of them today because it's a Monday. Getting things organized in regards to invoicing and pricing. And also, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so making sure that we are fully prepped up and ready to go for that big event in a sense. So
gotcha. And then your day
and then from there it gets into a busier kind of aspect. The service staff comes in. We start to get everybody ready, and then right around 4:30 or so, we sit down in our private dining room with the staff, and we go into a pre-meal aspect, everything from menu questions to specials and things like that. Service starts at 5 o'clock for dinner, and we go throughout the night. It's a normal thing, and then I'm here usually until right around the 10:30, 11 o'clock mark on a normal day, and then once the weekends come around, we don't usually leave here until about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's a long day, but it's a good thing to have an assistant manager and a partner and sous chef and things like that. It's good that people have those other roles. It kind of allows me to still enjoy some semblance of a life.
Yeah, I'm sure finding that balance can be challenging, especially in the the early years when you're just getting going like that.
Yeah, there's not much balance in the beginning. I'll tell you that right now. It's work, and then from there it goes into when you get the time, you get to go see your girlfriend or my nieces or anything like that, and kind of spend time with family. But so,
well, it's a demanding job for sure.
Sure is.
Tell me about your leadership style.
So I would say that when I was younger and I was running a restaurant over an ocean, I had times when, I'd yell a lot and kind of get to that point. And I've learned a long time ago that there's no reason to do anything of the sort. It's, ask a few times and then train and teach as much as possible. And there's certain people that get it and there's certain people that don't. Unfortunately, they just kind of weed themselves out. But you can't be I say it to my assistant manager quite a lot. You can't be a Gestapo or a police officer when you come into work every day. And you can't bark orders at people. They have to know that you're willing to do absolutely anything that you're asking them to do, and that's how I base my leadership on. Be the person that's helping them pull the cart along, not the guy that's sitting in the cart whipping them into shape. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I like that. Well, it gives you the more credibility with them, probably.
Yeah,
makes
for
them
sure.
want to do it versus feeling like they have to do it.
Correct.
What that sounds like a good lesson you've learned over the years. What other lessons have you learned in the business that maybe you do things differently now than you did early on, or things you learned that were important that you didn't know when you were kind of first getting started running a restaurant?
I think there's 15 or 16 different ways to go about doing everything in the restaurant. There's not a right way or wrong way. There's a lot of different ways to do stuff and get things where they need to be. I think the biggest thing is keeping your eyes and ears open. I think that I wasn't doing that much when I was younger, and realizing that it's more important to listen to everything that's going on around you and watch everything that's going on around you so that you're actually in tune with it all and can make decisions on the fly, and take other people's input for that matter. I was a big believer in the beginning of my career that, I was this young kid, like hot shot, kind of coming out of culinary school. I know what's best, and that's not the truth at all. You know, I used to get told by my executive chef in the place that I ran before. He'd say to me, you know, you don't know a damn thing. You need to keep working every single day and learn something new every day. And then eventually it kind of all clicked and was like, you know, you really have to strive for something new every single day. Whether it's, I said it to a staff member the other day, strive to improve 1% every day, 10% a week, you know, something, just anything that you can possibly do, learn something new. So.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's interesting. The more experience you have, the more you realize you didn't know when you thought you knew everything.
Yeah. And you know what? You never will. With
right.
an attitude or anything like that, you never will learn everything. It's never going to happen. There's always going to be somebody out there that can teach you something. So I just feel it's smart to listen and keep your head up to everybody.
So do you have a hard time, or is it you know, as you grow? I mean, you've been at it for 2 years. I'm sure you're starting to have to find ways to give up more control or more autonomy to your team. Is that a challenge to let go of things? I mean, I know when you first start, you kind of, you know, you almost probably feel like you have to do everything, but you know, it's not sustainable either.
Yeah, like
talk a little bit about that.
Kind of give more
trusting people to have responsibilities
yeah.
that maybe you had done early on.
Yeah, I think that became. That was something that I did a lot at my old location, my old stomping grounds. You know, it was if Andrew wasn't there, then something was going to go wrong, and I had that feeling. And I lived around the corner from the place, and would step in like every day that I had off, or be on the phone all the time, and it was just it wasn't good for not only my mental state and my state with my family, my girlfriend, and things like that, but you know, there was no trust in anybody else. So what were they really going to learn from it? Stepping into this business and being a partner here, you kind of realize that you need to let things go, and it allows me to groom my assistant manager and my bar manager and things like that to become better at their jobs, and eventually at one point in time maybe have their own. So I realized early on in this business, as far as like B2 is concerned, that I wanted to give them the opportunity to speak their mind and do what they wanted to do, and then, you know, they'd have to run it by me, but we would ultimately work with their decisions and see if the way that they wanted to do it was actually going to work out for them. And I've quickly learned that allow people to kind of showcase what they can do for you. It'll give you a little more trust in them, and then also give you a little more time to take a breather and step away and enjoy yourself, kind of thing. So I'm not on the phone as much as I used to be anymore. When I have my days off, I can almost put my phone aside and trust that the business is going to run fine. And, you know, at times I'll look at the cameras and just double check and make sure everything's all right, and maybe give a phone call in and just check in. But I trust in everybody that's here now, and, you know, the business is running smoothly. I get my nightly reports from them, and we set standards and standard operating procedures that need to be adhered to no matter who's running the business or the show. And as long as those things are followed, you know, everything's going to be okay. We don't need to have myself here or chef here at all points in times. You know, the restaurant will run. People will still keep walking in our doors and still keep eating good food and enjoying themselves. So. Well,
let me ask you this. I like the video on your homepage. Folks that are listening, go to their homepage and check out the video. I'll put the link to their page in the notes for this. But the video kind of tells your story for you and your partner, and it's just it resonated with me. I like people's stories. I like learning about people, you know, that are behind the business, particularly with independent restaurants, and what they're doing, why they're doing it. How are you sharing your story? Other than that, I mean, how do you share your story in Red Bank, and how do you spread the word about what y'all are doing, and Do you do advertising or social media, or are you just focused on just, creating a great experience so you get word of mouth, or what kind of drives the process of spreading the word?
I think the word of mouth is definitely one of the biggest things, no matter what. It's just kind of the way that this area is that we have our business in. But, I mean, social media is the driving force behind a lot nowadays. The good thing is that my girlfriend, she runs her own social media marketing company, and she is in charge of maintaining our social media presence here for B2. So I have a pulse on it every single day. I technically can't get away from it, which is not great all the time, but it's a good thing because I know what's going on. So social media is a big portion of it. We don't advertise as much as we probably should, but, to be honest with you, I think print advertising has kind of gone to the winds a little bit. Like, there's not as much that's out there anymore. I mean, I feel like a lot of mail is thrown away. But as far as the social media aspect is concerned, we respond to every single review that we get, whether positive or negative. We want to make sure that people know that we're listening to them. The other aspects are, just staying up on our menus and being current. And we've gotten a lot of great press because of that. The Asbury Park Press, other big newspapers in the area have contacted us and done write-ups, and it's helped us. People want to know what's going on or who we are, and we're two young guys, as you have seen from our video, but that we just kind of fell into this awesome opportunity and are running our own business and doing it the way we want it to do, and we're just trying to be real casual with it and non-pretentious and showcase that it can be done without having all these bells and whistles attached to it, So,
what do you mean by that?
I just think that a lot of the hospitality industry is kind of overdone nowadays in certain aspects. Like, I think that we need to get back to roots and rustic qualities and cook comfort food and let people just kind of sit back and enjoy, and don't overdo it. There's no reason to. Like, if I can correlate back to some of my fondest memories of eating just good food and drink and being around good people, it's usually at somebody's house where either their mother or they made food for me, and I sat down at the table and shared stories and had, like, a beer or a glass of wine that, like, came from, a mixed bag of whatever they had in the house at that point in time, and it didn't have to be anything, like, crazy. It didn't have to be anything over the top. And that's what we're trying to do here is showcase to people that we can be a restaurant that doesn't have to be anything over the top, but can still put out phenomenal product, food, service, and just, they don't have to break the bank for it either. We're not trying to do that. So,
gotcha.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still a big call for going out to New York City and experiencing this 7-course or 11-course tasting menu, and there's still a great thing about that, and it showcases like what the other side of our industry is about. But in the same sense, this side of the industry, to me, like, can be simplistic as well too. It can be comforting. So I don't think we should ever forget that. But,
no, I agree. I love it. We need more of those places everywhere. Well, so what's next, man? You guys been at it a couple of years. You focused on what you're doing, or do you think will you grow the concept, or do you?
We'll grow the concept. I don't think we'll do the same thing again. We'll do something maybe smaller or something bigger. We'll change the whole thing around. We focus around our wood-fired oven being a centerpiece in our place here. Now, maybe the next place could be a wood-fired grill. Focus on meats and like stuff like that. And we've looked at other locations and we've looked at other opportunities, and we need to find the right fit for us if we're going to do something else. And we also need to make sure that the breadwinner, the baby, our birth child, the thing that we've strived for the longest, is taken care of here. So B2 is number one in our eyes, and after that, everything else kind of will fall into succession. So, and like I said, our investors are very smart people, and they are always looking out for the betterment of us. So they're always looking at other opportunities for us, and then they're putting it in front of us and saying, is this something that you would be interested in? Do you think that we can make something like this work? And the conversations are always turning, always going on, and we sit down in meetings every single week with our partners, the investors, and just kind of go over the basic in and outs. So it's important.
Sounds like you have a good group of investors that are doing a lot to help, not just sitting back and expecting a return.
For sure. They stay quiet, but they don't sit just out in nowhere land and kind of look down on us. They really want to know that they can still stay involved, and we're doing something that's going to benefit all of us.
Good deal. Anything else, man? I'll let you roll, but any other thoughts you'd have for folks that are want to get into the business? Maybe typical advice that you give people that are coming up in the business.
It makes me laugh because it's funny, we ask every intern that walks in the door, like a new guy in the kitchen, because I have a culinary background, and obviously so does my chef. We say it all the time, like, don't do it, man. Like, don't do it. Get out now while you can. But it's because it's taxing and it's long hours on your life. But if you really love it and you really enjoy doing it, just put your all to it. Understand that you're going to have to do as many hours as you could possibly imagine just to get where you want to be, and it doesn't come easy. That's the biggest aspect of it. It just does not come easy. But be fully invested in it. I've seen so many people that are. One guy was like a lawyer or a Wall Street guy. Just decided, I'm done with this. I want to just go make beer. I want to go like open up a restaurant. Okay, go for it, man. You got the money, but make sure you're ingrained and ready to go and do it, kind of thing. And a year later, it's gone. It's something that they couldn't sustain or handle because they couldn't handle the hours. They were used to that 9 to 5 kind of lifestyle and dining in restaurants. You got to make sure it's like really, really, really ingrained in what you do. I think that's my only piece of advice. So,
absolutely,
and don't stop learning about it.
And don't stop learning. All right, man. Well, this is good advice. This is good stuff, Andrew. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing the story, and just appreciate your time and appreciate your business, and wish you guys best of luck, man. We're really stoked to serve y'all.
Awesome. We really appreciate it. You guys do a great job for us, so thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Have a good one. Take care.
You too. Thanks.
All right. See you.
Bye.